Hello, hello, awesome.
Oh,
It's your girl, Carrie, on AWE Radio, where we are apologetically empowered. I got so excited I can barely get it out. And we are always on here with information and inspiration for your transformation. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because we have tonight friend of AWE, Miss Eleanor Murphy from Waukegan, Illinois. Let me just tell you a little bit about Eleanor for those of you all who are new to her. She is a retired and former dean of the College of Lake County, Lakeshore campus. I call her a Black history aficionado. And she's a certified life coach. We happen to have gotten our certification at the same time, so I'm really proud of that. She is the founder and CEO of Merck Resource and recently launched her very, very relevant gratitude series on Facebook Live. And she is a subscriber of AWE News, and she is a member of my private Facebook group, The Empowered Woman. Welcome, Eleanor, to AWE Radio, or back to AWE Radio.
thank you very much. And I am excited to be here with you.
Well, we're excited to have you. Look, I want to jump right in here about this gratitude series. I mean, this is just the perfect time for a series such as this. Please, please, please tell us more about the series and what made you do this? What prompted you to do this and why now?
Well, I started talking about gratitude during the pandemic
Ah,
because there was so much negativity about, oh, I'm closed in, I can't do this, I can't do that. So I started looking at all the things that we have to be grateful for.
yes.
And so I called a friend and my sister, and I said, let's start talking about gratitude because Zoom was the big thing for the pandemic.
Yes.
And then I started Zooming with friends and other people talking about gratitude, looking at ways to be grateful.
Yes.
With,
Yes.
with, so
Yes.
that's
I love that.
and
I love it. Looking for ways to be grateful. And you were going to say something else?
yeah, and I was saying that, and that was my why now. Doing it now so people wouldn't get so dragged down with complaints and
Yeah.
sorrow and moaning and groaning.
I love that. I love that. It was kind of looking out of your circumstances and being in the
Yes,
moment and being
yes,
grateful for the many things that we did and that we were surviving because so many
yes.
folks,
That's the biggest thing to be grateful for.
right? So many people didn't. Unfortunately, we know that there are many who lost loved ones, and our hearts
Yes,
definitely go out to those
yes.
folks. So I love that. I love the whole gratitude series. But how does gratitude in general, how does that line up with your own story, your own journey?
My personal story is a story of gratitude because there were so many things in my life. My mother passing away when I was 11 years old,
Mm,
having 9 children, and we all got split up, and things were so difficult as a child, all isolated from what you knew,
yes.
and every there was like this cloud that sort of engulfed me in just about everything I did. There were people reaching out, encouraging me. I had so much negativity coming at me, and
Mm,
then there were other people that saying, "Don't believe that. You're better
mm.
than that." Even when I couldn't see it, they had the eyes to see it for me and
Wow.
to feel it for me. And
Wow.
and then came the time where you had one person that wanted you to imagine a different world, different circumstances and background.
Mm.
So when you go through it, sometimes you're not thinking about how grateful things are with gratitude.
Mm.
But when you get on the other side and look back, boom, there you can say, man, am I am so grateful for this. And then, in recent years, gratitude, even before the pandemic, began to be something of a hot topic
Mm-hmm.
because you had people like Oprah, Winfrey, you remember the singer James Taylor,
Yeah.
really into into gratitude. And then there's so much research in terms of linking gratitude to stronger relationships and happiness, and how happiness and health is related to the amount of gratefulness you have. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. It makes perfect sense because when you're coming from a place of of humility, and not false modesty, but just humility, right, and realizing that that there's value not only in yourself but in someone else, and how you want to extend yourself to that person, and be grateful for what they're giving you, and do that in a spirit of reciprocity. It totally makes sense to me what you're saying, that you build stronger relationships when you're standing from a place of gratitude than from a place of false modesty. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yes, absolutely. And there's been research. A lot of people don't realize that there has been quite a bit of research around the whole subject of gratitude, and how it works in your health, and work in your personal life. It helps, lead you to higher expectation, and you get all kinds of benefits.
That makes sense. You are gratitude. I love that, because it's like a mindset readjustment almost, right? Because if you're seeing things always from kind of a glass half empty perspective, it affects everything about your whole life, everything. Because like, mom always says, Dr. C always says, you're the center of everything, and the mind is so powerful, so important to your center. So if you're coming from that place of always half empty or negativity, or you can't see past whatever your circumstances are, you have the total opposite effect. But it makes sense that if you're coming from a spirit of gratitude, that kind of opens your mind and open your eyes to seeing things from a different perspective. And it all starts really with the mind. So I think it makes perfect sense.
It absolutely does, because if you looked at, there was a 2009 study led by Nathaniel Lambert out at the University of California, Davis, and their research suggested that gratitude leads people to believe they deserve positive outcomes for themselves.
That's
and
great.
Are capable of achieving them.
That is great. Now, so you're saying that gratitude leads you to believe that you're capable.
Yes, and you are open and deserving that. See, a lot of people don't like that deserving, but you deserve positive outcomes.
That's interesting. So how do you tie that? I love that. I love that thought. How do you tie the whole being deserving, that whole concept of being deserving, to being to gratitude? Because sometimes people, if they haven't really sat and thought about gratitude, they may think of gratitude as being, oh, I'm grateful because I don't deserve it. But I find it interesting that you're saying just the opposite, and that the research is showing that when you stand in gratitude, then your eyes are open to how much you actually do deserve better in life.
Yes, because in most of life, we are taught this false narrative that, you have to be, humble. And I'm not against humble, but we're like, you're not deserving. There's something that you have to do spectacular to earn, to be deserving of something. And when you walk or believe in gratitude, that the gift of life, the gift of just being here and giving and sharing, earns, you have a right to be here. I just use the term, you have been ordained as this human species to be here and to enjoy everything that's here in our environment and in our society. And we have found in a lot of studies that people have been in short terms used to, like, you invite up maybe 10 people, and 5 people have been instructed to use gratitude, thank you, words of appreciation, notes of appreciation in terms of doing a project. The other people were just given the project.
Mm.
And they found it so laborious. They were having a hard time. And then on the other group that was being fed these gratitude prompts came out with a much more environment. And they really felt very strongly about deserving to be on top.
Ah,
And
that
so,
is really interesting. And I think it's
yeah,
something because I think you hit on another really interesting concept, which is, the humility, because in our culture and many cultures, you're taught to be humble. And I think there's a difference in humility and being self-deprecating. I don't think you have
yeah,
to put yourself down or undervalue
mm-hmm,
yourself to be
no,
humility, to be in operate in a spirit of humility, because I think that humility is what brings you to
that's
gratitude, right?
that's absolutely right. You can't have that false thing that, oh, you have to have that humility and
Yeah.
not feel um, that I can't express,
Yeah.
I can't be happy, I
Yeah.
can't be joy. When I win, they always say, don't be too proud, don't show too much.
Mm-hmm.
They think you're being, beyond above yourself. The
Mm-hmm.
word is skipping me, but
Mm-hmm.
no, 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 no.
Boastful.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
don't be boastful, and but you don't have to be boastful to just share. And I think that's where gratitude comes in
I
and
love
gives
it.
you that extra.
I definitely like that. And and I think that gratitude that's built on humility is what makes you empathetic, right, to other people,
Yeah,
right?
to other people, because when you are being thankful for what you receive, what you are doing, you are thanking all the elements, all the pieces that brought you to a particular point in time. And when you do that, you're not talking about who you stepped on, who did you uh, play a game on, or who did you trick. Those two don't work together. So
Mm.
when you are looking at the genuine support and help that you received, and sometimes we don't realize the simple things of thank you is an expression of gratitude.
Yeah.
Something something that you do for someone else is an expression of gratitude.
I love that. I absolutely love it. It's amazing. I'm so glad that you are doing this series because you just shared a lot with us in terms of why it's important for us to have it and really share it with others. I mean, I think if we all just join hands in gratitude, I think this world would be a lot better place. And I can imagine on your gratitude series on Facebook Live, and I've seen some of the episodes. I love it. Congratulations on the series.
Thank you, and you brought so much to the last live broadcast.
Well, thank you. I
It was
enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being there. And you've had what other kinds of guests have you had? I know you've had a lot of people with different backgrounds and different experiences, but who are some other, if you don't want to give us names, what are the topics that you've had in this under the cloak of gratitude?
we've had, in terms of gratitude as motivation,
Yeah.
you know, gratitude in terms of goal achievement, gratitude in health building,
Mm.
gratitude and happiness and stronger relationships.
Yes.
We've had those kinds of
Oh, that's
topics, and
exciting.
mhm.
That's exciting.
Mhm. And then one of the gratitude topics we had, back during the COVID period was, gratitude is the answer to no.
Ooh, I
Mhm.
love
Yeah,
that. I
yeah, coming
absolutely
around.
love that. Well, and let me tell you, Ada, awesome. This is a Cree here, of course, but we are on with Eleanor Murkey from Waukegan, Illinois, and talking about her exciting series on gratitude. And she's here sharing it with us on AWE Radio. And we got a surprise for you at the end. So make sure you stay tuned. I want to pivot for a second, though, because I know you're doing so many things. Tell us about Merck Resource. Obviously, we get the name from Merky, we get that, but tell us about
Yeah.
what is Merck Resource and who's your client base and where can we find you?
Okay, you can find me at mercresource.com. And Merck Resource came out of the work that I used to do as dean at the College of Lake County,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it seemed like everybody was coming to me for different questions about resources, and I seem to have had books and people contacts, and so always giving out resource. And then another part of the Merck resource, connecting ideas and people.
Yeah.
So often, students, colleagues, and people would come to me with ideas. And before you know it, with like simple questions and stuff, would really help them formulate their idea into a thing.
Oh, I love
So
it.
when I was getting close to retirement, I decided to do Merck Resource because I had all these different resources the ability to reach out to different resources. And then the Idea Factory was simply uh, acting like a factory. You know how you take raw materials
Oh,
of
yes.
factory
Oh,
and
yes.
you work it out, and then on the end come a product. So that was the simple thing of the Idea Factory.
Oh, I
But
love that.
yeah,
I absolutely love it. And I can say I certainly benefited over the years in with Merck Resource before Merck Resource was Merck Resource.
Merck Resource.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate that we're running out of time. I really do. I think I want to come back and have you talk to us again for a part two if you don't mind. Um but I know I can tell that this work that you're doing, partly with, I should say, a combination of the gratitude series and Merck Resource. I know this is it. It just feels to me like this is steeped in your passion.
It definitely is. It
Yeah,
definitely
yeah. Now I know, Miss Eleanor, that that you have a very, very powerful story. And I know that you are truly, truly a woman evolving. And you are one of the original advocates for my A Woman Evolves One Woman show, which, as you know, now we're doing as a biopic. But I want you to tell everybody about your connection with AWE on many levels.
Well, I think one of the things back, even when you were a youngster, and all the ideas and how people were attracted to you. And then as you evolved and being at the College of Lake County, and again, a resource person, um, recognize that one woman's story that you tell in A Woman Evolves, and had the opportunity to share that with students and the community starting way back in the 90s. And if I can tell one short story, we had a middle school that the college was connected with, and sharing your story, your info on a woman, well, at that time, a one woman show. The principal at Jefferson Middle School was so impressed by that. When we invited you to the college, he shut down the whole middle school,
Wow.
all grades. We got the buses and a 1,500, well, actually 2,500 amphitheater at the college, and brought all those middle school students to hear you tell your story. And it was really at the beginning of your story, because since the 90s, boy, this woman has evolved quite a bit. And and that goes from that first group, and it was so impressive having those kids and stopping. Can you imagine middle school kids? They're all involved with their own little conversations and stuff, but they really listened to not only what you had to say, your presentation, and it didn't hurt that you were part of the Sounds of Laughter. That helped. And I tell you, and I cannot wait until we have the different avenues to show the biopic.
Stay tuned for that. I'm excited. But I want to say to you, Miss Eleanor, you really have been foundational to everything that A Woman Evolved has done. You have been a staunch supporter. You were the first one in your role as dean that allowed me to have a platform, a stage where we first produced it live to folks. Oh, I mean, so I really, really have a very, very, very warm place in my heart for you. And you've been with AWE through everything. A Woman Evolves, the stage production. A Woman Evolves, the biopic. A Woman Evolves doing Stronger Than. And you even brought Stronger Than after we did the national campaign with the 400 Years of African American History Commission. And you guys tune in to AWE Radio to hear all about that. But then you brought us to your professional circles in the Chicagoland area where we did AWE's first mini conference for Stronger Than. So you have really, really been a strong advocate and supporter for everything AWE.
Yes, and I'm sure you are glad for the new technology and
yes,
things have evolved.
Yes.
Because when we started out, we had a script and
cassette tapes, everybody.
and two players that you had to put a tape in and be looking for the next to put it
yes. Yes.
You had to take me off of the technology.
Eleanor would be so wrapped up into the production that she wouldn't push the next on. I mean, we had a ball. We just had a ball with that. Oh, that was so much fun. That was so many fond memories. And I have to get your take on this because you came up and you brought so many supporters with you to the AWE Women's Empowerment Extravaganza. Can you just briefly say a word about that event?
You know, I always say when something is really beyond description, I always say a party broke out. And if people can imagine, you know, you had the reception with St. John's, the boutique, and people were showing clothes and soft, or, you know, like light hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then all of us, everybody who could fit the clothes were trying to clothes. And it was really. And then the biopic, the extravaganza. It was, I mean, I have people all over the place still talking about that. It was probably the most elegant event, one of the most elegant events that I have been in. And what was so sweet about that, it was a Woman Evolve, the guests were women, and the men were serving.
I love it. Yes, we wanted everybody to be empowered. And again, thank you for all of your support on that. I mean, it's just amazing. I have to ask you. I have to ask because I know you're going to have a great answer. And again, I know that we're running short on time. But what is the significance in your mind of having and sharing messages like from AWE, from your gratitude series, from the Stronger Than, like sharing it around the world? Why is that important from your perspective?
Because people need to be empowered. I know we hear that so much, but I don't think we always understand that all of the people that we encounter all around the world do not believe, you know, in the personal empowerment.
Yes.
That they possess.
Yes.
And even men, that's why we have probably so many problems, domestic and otherwise, because we don't understand, we do not tap into our empowerment.
I love that. Truer words were never spoken. I hope you guys have got your pens and papers and your Facebook, you know, got your thumbs on your Facebook page to put that up and quote Miss Eleanor Murkey. And I told you guys that I had a surprise, and that surprise is Miss Eleanor Murkey has agreed to come on to AWE Radio and do a 4-part gratitude series right in October. So we are excited about that. We are, and we thank you so much, Miss Eleanor, for being our guest today. And thank you for agreeing to come back to do this gratitude series on AWE Radio.
In October, the birthday month.
October, the birthday month, when Miss Eleanor will be years old. That we're not telling. Look, folks, we have run out of time But we definitely will be hearing more from Miss Eleanor Murkey. I know that you are giving her a virtual round of applause for all these wonderful nuggets that she has dropped on us today. Again, I'm your host, Karee, on AWE Radio, where we are unapologetically empowered. And we're always on with information and inspiration for your transformation. Miss Eleanor, you want to take us out with a final word?
Oh, yes. Empowerment, empowerment, empowerment.
Until we meet again, folks, enjoy the journey and be empowered.